As the year 2021 draws to a close, we take a look back at collecting comic books this past year on this video from Bronzeville Comics. Hey there, comic book community. This is Jim from Bronzeville Comics. And this particular video, I'm going to look back at my comic book collecting over the last year in 2021. When the year began, this table didn't have any comic books on it. I didn't own a slab. And I was still getting my pull list weekly from my local comic shop. And that was about it. I was occasionally dabbling in eBay. About once a week, I'd look to get another book to fill in my DC 1972 run. That was really where I was focusing my collecting. That's where things kind of took off. And it wasn't really until the spring. Now, some people will talk about when they got back into comic book collecting. I never left the hobby. I've been collecting comic books since I was a kid, and I don't think I've missed a month of comic books since the end of 1972. That being said, as the year progressed and we got into the spring, I was looking for other outlets. It was very difficult. The pandemic has been ongoing, and the number of recreational outlets was limited. I wasn't going out to dinner, I wasn't going to the movies, wasn't spending a lot of time with friends because of shutdowns, and I was going back to work. And to be honest, as I'm a high school teacher, work last year was a challenge because we had very few kids in the building with us. And there was really difficult to interact with the kids. So it was, I think, a very stressful year for a lot of teachers, so I needed some other outlet. So I was collecting my DC 1972 books and kind of looking to see which ones were the most expensive. So I was starting to make a list of the books, and interestingly, it all kind of began with one comic book in particular. And I ended up buying a slab of it, and I'm trying to find that book right now. I got a whole bunch of slabs, and that's going to be a little bit later part of this story. So anything that is cover dated 1972 is what I've been picking up. And so I picked up this on eBay, and I hadn't been spending this kind of money on these books, but I found what I thought was a really good deal in the spring. Now, good deals in the spring don't look so good now, but I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. But it was this comic, Green Lantern 87, the first appearance of John Stewart, with this classic cover by Neil Adams. And I bought it in an 8.5. And I think I got this for like $750. And actually, this has increased in value since I bought it in the spring, which is overall somewhat unusual for key comic books. And I think I did make some good purchases. Now, interestingly enough, this says, and if you see it there, it does have a January cover date. But if you look on the inside, it says December 1971, January 1972. So it's sort of borderline. But I said, I'm going to consider that a 1972 book. And anything with that January cover date for the bi-monthly publications, I'm going to grab. So I got this. And then I started to watch some YouTube channels. I started to watch Very Gary, Comic Tom, Automatic Comics, Erod 212, and started to get more intrigued by the comic book community. And I started to buy a lot more on eBay. Around the same time, back in May, Mint Hunter was another book, and he had another channel I was watching, and he had done a video about going into antique stores. So I looked up antique stores in my area, and there was one not far from work, and actually I could get there and back during a free period. So I went there. And I looked around in a pile of ratty books, and I was talking to the owner, and he says to me, "Do you buy comic collections?" I'm like, well, I really haven't before, but yeah, I'd be open to it. You know, I've kind of gotten back into the hobby. So he took my information. When I was in I picked up for $30 a bunch of books. Nothing particularly special, nothing in great shape. He calls me, says, I got a couple of G.I. Joe #1s. take a look at. I bought those. Those are still at CGC. So I haven't been spending a whole lot of time at this level of the hobby. All of these slabs are books I bought slabbed. And I don't buy a lot of slabs, but I bought these slabbed. So he sold me the 2 G.I. Joes, went on my way. A couple weeks later, he calls me. He has a collection in it. It was the day the Venom 2 trailer dropped. And it had 2 copies of Amazing Spider-Man 361, which are still at CGC. I ended up buying the collection, and I'm taking all these like random boxes back to my house and have them in my living room. I actually sorted through them all. I've sold a lot of stuff of that on eBay, and actually have already made a profit on that collection without anything coming back from CGC, which is something I'm particularly happy with. But in the meantime, I think I bought like 8 other collections, including the most recent collection, again from the same antique dealer. I bought now 3 from him, 2, 1, 1. I can count at least 10 collections right off the top of my head. So I was also buying slabs back in the spring. Sometimes not a good idea, right? This book has lost value. But I think I bought some books that still have some room to grow. We still haven't seen any footage for Thor: Love and Thunder. I think this was a good investment. I think this is a particularly good book that I invested in. I paid a premium for it because it was in the spring, and in the summer I'm like, oh man, I overpaid for that book. But then, news of the announcement, this has been a good pickup. And I'm holding on to this because I'm trying to get all the Marvel keys from 1972, the top 10 keys, and I have 9 of them now. In that vein, I also picked this up. Good investment, I think. Black Adam movie's coming out. I showed this in a video last week. That, I think, was a good investment. Some other ones, not so much. You know, I started getting a little crazy. Got this. Probably overpaid a little bit for this. 9.4. Not so great. The big slab that I bought was this one. Now I have a raw copy of this, too, that's actually out being cleaned and pressed and will eventually be graded. I think this was a good long-term investment. And I also think this other slab that I bought, and I also have a raw copy of this as well that I'm going to clean and press and get graded. We haven't seen Jessica Drew yet. So for the most part, the slabs I bought still have room to grow because of spec potential, and they're pretty solid keys. I bought a few more recent ones, but not a whole lot. And you see some on the wall. Some are personal collection books. Like a Defenders 1 and the Super Spectacular behind me, that just books I really liked. So I got on Instagram. I started my own YouTube channel. And one of the people that really... I started looking for ads for estate sales, garage sales, little comic shows. And I found out about this guy who had a street side sale in the Bronx. And I went down there, and I've been down there a lot. I was down there earlier today, and that's Streetside Anthony. And he's just a wonderful member of the community. Everybody in this area, in the tri-state area in the community, knows him. And, you know, he's just a great guy. He's about 20 minutes from my house, so it's really easy to go down there. I picked up a stack of books today. Just gives great deals. I've seen him at shows. I've seen him at flea markets. And I really want to give him a thanks for just his enthusiasm is contagious for this hobby and this community. And that's been really great. Actually, when I bought collections. I bought a huge collection in, was it October? I think it was October. I bought this huge collection where I got, you know, an Incredible Hulk 181, a full run, a Fantastic Four run from 44 to 209, Conan 1 to 110, just a whole slew of great bronze and some good silver books. And the second person I called after my wife, and I actually left her a message, was Anthony, because I'm like, I can't believe this collection I got. So that's been just a great personal community, and other people. Hold on a second. Credit. Other members of the community that I've run into and been able to have conversations with, like Very Gary. I saw him at the Stormville Flea Market. Erod, I've seen him around and sent books out to get cleaned and pressed with him. Joe from 360 Comics, we've become friendly and have actually been hunting for comics together, and that's been a lot of fun. So it's really great to find people who have a similar interest. Whatever that interest might be, in this case it's comic books. And even though, you know, we're in different age brackets, some of us, we still have that love of comics. And what's great about this community, and you see, you know, I'm a minor YouTuber. You see people who just share this information and talk about comic books and what they love about them and what they found and what they find value in. And just that information has been great to find out, because I knew a lot about comic books 7 months ago when I kind of started this journey, but I know a lot more now. And, you know, I've been really immersing myself in watching YouTube videos and reading up and going through lists and obviously doing a lot of research and preparation for my own videos. So I've actually been to shows, and one of the things, I've managed to complete some runs. I finally found, like, just like books that had eluded me to, like, just random books I was missing. Like, why am I missing this issue? Because I have been spending some time trying to sort through my own collection, which hasn't been easy. I did pick up 2 other minor collections. That brings it to 12. And another, well, 13 now that I think about it. At any rate, I finished my Alpha Flight run, I finished my Marvel Fanfare run, which are big runs, and I finished my Defenders run a couple of times over now, because I picked up a lot of Defenders books as part of collections, and I really have to sit down and go through and pick out which one is the best issue to compare what I picked up to what I have in my personal collection. So that's kind of another video. Next week I'm going to do a video looking forward to my goals in 2022. But this is a reflection on 2021, and it's just been a lot of fun. It's been in many ways overwhelming in terms of the number of books that now are just sitting around my house and I have to organize. I've been selling on eBay, and I went from just a guy who occasionally sold on eBay, and now I have top seller status. I started an eBay store, and I'm going to be setting up at my first show, but that's a 2022 story. It's been just something to have an outlet. The one thing that has been a drawback is I haven't had that much time to actually read comics, and that's a whole other video that's going to be coming up soon. So I also have been learning how to press my own comic books, because I have stacks. Not all these books are pressing candidates. To be honest, I don't even know what all these books are right now. There are probably books I still have to go through. But I've been pressing comics, trying to press like a comic book a day. And I've gotten some good results, and I still have a lot to learn. So big boy books, I'm not quite ready to do yet. I need a lot more experience before I get there. But it's a very satisfying feeling to take a raw book that is in not so great condition, as, like, you know, kind of a wrinkled cover, and be able to press it and get a much better looking book. That's been satisfying, and it is a little bit time consuming, but it's something that I've had a good time doing. I prefer raw books to slabs, even though I do have this stack of slabs here. I don't have a whole lot of slabs. I haven't gotten anything back from CGC yet, and I think a lot of people understand that situation. Hopefully soon this stuff is going to start coming back, but man, it's been slow. And doing my own pressing, hopefully I can send some books out at that time. I've also been getting new books, and I've been trying to steer clear from speculating on newer books too much. I did that a little bit back in the spring, but said, you know what, my strength is, you know, pretty much 1990s and earlier. And I do have a little bit of 2000 stuff that I'm interested in. I've been kind of hoarding, but I've been almost every weekend I'm out hunting for comic books. And that's been kind of fun. It's been getting like my Saturday morning is just get out there for a few hours, go around, see what I can find. Sometimes I find some great stuff. Sometimes I come home empty-handed. But you got to keep hunting, guys. Hopefully, we're almost this far away from 900 subscribers, and I've run into a lot of people who've seen the videos, and that's been kind of get positive feedback from that. It's great to meet more people. And hopefully you've been enjoying these videos. If you've been watching consistently, I try to vary the kinds of videos that I do. And I'm going to probably keep to a similar schedule, haul videos, yearly countdowns, and maybe some other, like, you know, once a week, some kind of random stuff that I'll look at. And that's been my year. I still have a lot to go through in storage. I mean, this is just the tip of the iceberg. I had started thinking, you know what, I'm going to downsize my collection because I'm over 50. Got to start getting rid of some of the stuff. And at least in the short term, I've been going in the opposite direction by just bringing in collections. So that's going to be more my 2022 goals. And we're going to see where we end up. I do have some goals that I want to do for 2022, both short term and long term. You know, complete runs, move some stuff, learn some more. But we'll talk about that in a future video. So this video is all about the year 2021 in comic books. We saw the comic book prices soar in the spring, and I sold a handful of books during that time. And then we've seen the prices come down to where probably a correction. But there's still plenty of books that are increasing in value, and there's plenty of fun books to find out there. And if you can find them for the right price, and collections are a great way to get comics well below fair market value. Garage sales, estate sales as well, and that's kind of what I'm hunting for. I'm also looking for stuff on eBay, and I also like to pick up stuff for the personal collection that I'm willing to pay even a little bit more than fair market value if the condition is what I want. So hopefully trying to make the hobby fund itself and have a little bit of some investment there as well. It's been a fun time in 2021 collecting comics. It's been a crazy time. And it looks like it's going to continue to be fun and crazy as we see new movie properties and TV shows on Disney Plus and HBO Max, and kind of that fun of hunting and speculating and trying to see what you can find out there. So that's it for this video. Here's my DC 1999 video, and this is a video of that Golden Age collection that I picked up this past week. Take a look at those. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already subbed up. Smash the like button. Leave a comment. Let me know what you did, how your comic collecting evolved and changed during 2021. And we finished the DC 1990s run. Marvel 1990s coming up in our next video. And until then, guys, enjoy your comics.